If you're just getting into skateboarding but you don't know what board size is going to be best for you, then you've come to the right place. When we're talking about the size of the skateboard, we're referring to the width of it, and we measure the width in inches. So there's not just one size board that's going to be the best and suit everyone. It comes down to three main factors, and I guess that creates the formula to figure out which size board is going to be perfect for you. And these are your shoe size, what type of skateboarding you're going to do, and your personal preference. So I'm going to go into these 3 points in more detail so we can figure out what size board is going to be best for you. So the first determining factor on choosing your board size is going to be your shoe size. You want to find a board that allows your foot to have a lot of coverage over it. There's not too much overhang on your toes or your heels. The bigger the board is, the more you're going to be able to control it because you're steering with your heels and your toes. So I'm a US 11, I ride an 8.75 inch board, so I've got big feet and I ride a big board. So my board size is pretty suited to my shoe size. But I know someone that's a size 7 US and they ride a 9.125 inch board, which is huge for their foot size. But then I know someone that's a size 12 and they ride an 8.25 inch board, which is really small for that foot size. That's why shoe size isn't enough of a determining factor to figure out what size board you should ride. Because if we were just going off shoe size, homie number 1 with a size 7 foot should be riding around an 8 inch board. And then homie number 2 that has size 12 shoes, he should be riding at least an 8.75 and above. So the next thing to consider is what type of skateboarding you're going to be doing. So I'll try and break this down as easy as I can to make the board width make a bit more sense towards what type of skating you want to do. So boards from about 7 inch to 7.75 inches, that's considered really small. That's mainly for little kids or like mini skateboards. A size 7.75 inch to an 8.125, that's considered your more technical skating. So lots of flip tricks, manuals, and just a lot of technical tricks where your board's going to be flipping and spinning a lot. So the smaller the board is, the lighter it's going to be, and all of these flip tricks are going to work easier. I'd say from the 8.125 to an 8.6 inch, that's your kind of standard that you're going to find most people ride. That's good for beginners, rail skaters, technical skaters, bowl skaters, transport. That's kind of your middle range in the skate industry. But that's all depending on your personal preference, which I'll get to in the next section. And then the 8.6 inch up to the 9.5 and above, that's more for your transition and bowl skating, your cruising, your filming boards, and I guess just bigger boards for transport, because the more foot placement you have, the wider surface you have, the more comfortable it's going to be and the more stable. So homie number 1 that's a size 7 and should be riding an 8 inch board, he likes to skate big handrails and big gaps and stuff, so that type of skating is more suited towards an 8.5. So taking into account his size 7 foot, the sweet spot for him would be anywhere around an 8.25 to an 8.38 for his shoe size and his style of skating. But homie number 2 that's a size 12 and he likes technical skating, instead of riding an 8.75 that suits his shoe size, he should be on about an 8.38 to an 8.5, taking into account his shoe size and the style of skating that he likes to do. Now getting into personal preference of your skateboard, this is just as important as your shoe size and the type of skating that you're going to be doing. So continuing with the examples of my homies, number 1 that should be riding an 8.25 to an 8.38 according to our first two factors, he actually rides a 9.125, and this is where the personal preference comes in. He likes skating handrails and he likes skating gaps, so the wider board gives him a lot bigger surface to land on his board and be a lot more comfortable when he's taking all of that impact and jumping. But this one's a little shorter in length and it's shorter wheelbase as well, because he's only a small dude with size 7 feet. He needs the shorter wheelbase and the shorter length to make the board lighter and still be able to do his flip tricks. Having a shorter wheelbase and length helps it be like a perfect board for him. And then homie number 2 that should be riding an 8.38 to an 8.5, judging off the two factors, he rides an 8.25 board because he prefers a little bit of a lighter board, because the smaller the board is, the lighter. That helps his board flip a lot faster and spin a lot faster, which makes it easier for him to do all of his technical flip tricks. So not any of these three factors are more important than the other. It really does take all three of those key factors to figure out what's going to be the best size skateboard for you. So by now you guys should have a good understanding of what board's going to be best suited to you, or at least what to consider and what to look out for when you're going to look for your next skateboard. But if you still are unsure, the best thing to do is go to your local skate shop, ask if you can just step on it or put a foot on top of the board just to see how much your foot covers the board, how it feels underneath your feet, and if it feels comfortable or not. Do that, test a few sizes, see what feels most comfortable, or try some of your homies' boards out, ride a few of their ones, see which size feels best for you, and then you can make a decision off that too, having a physical board to feel and test. So if you guys have any questions at all about helping you pick the right board, let me know in the comments below. If you did enjoy this video, check out my wheel size video and how to pick the right wheels for you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.